Welcome, everyone. My name is Taurus the Legend. Thank you so much for joining us in our episode 3 of our SAP BTP Garage series. Today, we're going to be covering Unlock the Full Potential of Artificial Intelligence with the AI Developer for SAP. Our guest speakers today, my colleague Tomas Majorczyk, ABAP Developer, and Michal Rihak, Lead ABAP Developer at MTCD, will be our presenters today. Before we get started, the mission today can be found in the Discovery Center, so I'll be sharing this with you guys after this call. So if you want to get a little bit more information on what the mission is, which I'm sure our presenters will go into, but if you want more details, the mission is available in the Discovery Center. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know of some of our awareness and enablement initiatives. The Ask Me Anything webinar series will be available in the third Wednesday of every month. What's new with SAP BTP, a quarterly live will be on the last Thursday of every month. SAP BTP Innobytes is a monthly video series that's currently available, and finally, Elevate Your Skills in the SAP BTP Garage, which is our monthly series, the first Wednesday of every month. Also, we have the SAP BTP Talk, which is a monthly podcast, if you're interested in joining that. All of these links will be made available to you in the presentation, which we'll share with you after the call is done. And then finally, the SAP Business Technology Platform monthly newsletter, which is currently available. So there's a lot of information that you guys can tap into, all part of the being part of this community. Some hands-on workshops and in-person workshops. I won't go into the specifics here, but just suffice it to say, there's definitely a hands-on workshop at a city near you. So I will be posting all of these in the chat as we move forward. Also, some upcoming webinars that we're currently planning. On March the 21st, how to streamline collaboration and deliver efficiencies with SAP Build Process Automation. This is in collaboration with our partner NTT Data. And also our quarterly update on April the 10th will be our first update on what's new in SAP DataSphere in the first quarter of 2024. We have a number of new webinars in the works, so stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. Also, if you guys are in the Palo Alto or Miami areas, there are 2 on-site events that we're currently planning. These are 2-day events focusing on SAP generative AI with integration on the first day, SAP AI and DataSphere on the second day. So if you're interested in joining us at these 2 on-site events, please do let me know, and I'll send you the link. With that, I'd like to hand it over to our guest speakers, Tomas and Michal.
Thank you very much, Taurus. Hey, everybody. So this is Michal speaking. I would share my screen to start with something visual. So, yeah. Thank you very much again for joining us. The mission basically introduces the AI capabilities into the world of the SAP. We are here speaking about S/4HANA environment, as well as the older releases of SAP ERP, respectively ECC systems. Yeah, and as such, I would like to start with a poll asking you, how often do you use any kind of AI in your daily professional life? So, Taurus, can I ask you for the poll?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So please vote on how often do you use any kind of AI in your professional life. Yeah, the results are interesting. Pretty much leveraged, I would say. However, the majority seems to be using the AI, whatever. I mean, BART, Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever we can think of. The majority seems to be using it a few times per month. So less than once a week. All right. Let's wait another few seconds. All right. So I would end the poll and share the results. So the results say that 45% of participants of you use any kind of AI less frequently than once a week. Yeah. But then 30%, which is still a significant number, use it daily, and 25% use it once a week, or approximately once a week. Of course, this is just an estimation from your side. Now, this is still very interesting because my question basically implicitly suggests mindful usage of the AI. Yeah, so that means an explicit usage. Either you go to ChatGPT to discuss something, to format your business email, to get a marketing text for your whatever startup or whatever you want. Maybe to have a research on some topic, to get 2-3 lines of very cumulated content that is a result of a very long text that you would otherwise have to read yourself. Yeah, or you just get to Microsoft or Google services and you try to get some help from Gemini or BART. Yeah, so these would be explicit usages of the AI. But besides these, we have already numerous examples of implicit usages of the AI, which we may not be aware of. And this frequency of the usage of the AI will rise as the time goes. Now I would share. Can you see my PowerPoint slides right now?
No.
No. All right. I need to click my okay.
We just see your mission, the Discovery
All
Center.
right. Fine. I need to reshare. Anyways, can you see the PPT?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. So, yeah, there was a very famous shoemaker in Czech Republic. His name was Tomáš Bata. He was a revolutionizer of the shoe industry because in Czech Republic he basically started to use heavily the machines for shoemaking, and he had a very famous saying that was, "Let's give the hard work to machines, and let's give the thinking to people." Yeah, so thinking to people, hard work to machines. That was his famous quote. But what if the machines start to think for us? And this is basically a very strange, a pivotal moment in the history that starts in November 2022, because the OpenAI introduced very capable GPT model, ChatGPT, that can understand human language. You see, if you have ever used GPT, which basically stands for General Pre-trained Transformer, that means that this AI has been pre-trained on a large data set, and its skills are basically those that are pre-trained. It does not take the skills, it does not learn by the sessions that you have with the GPT, but this may change, or maybe has already been changing over the time. Now, if you have a modern car, for example, then you can push a button and say, I don't know, I'm too hot. Yeah. So this would be, if you say I'm too hot, and the car tells you that it's just lowering the temperature for you, that's quite good, let's say. But still, you have 2 or 3 options how to say to lower the temperature. You can explicitly say, please lower the temperature, or set the temperature to 21 degrees, or I'm too hot. Yeah. But that's it. With these pre-trained transformers, with the AI, which has the capabilities of ChatGPT, you already have a machine that understands you, that understands the human language, and it's various nuances which your car doesn't currently. Yeah. Or if you have a, I don't know, a phone with a voice assistant, it can understand you something, but let's be honest, many times we are not happy, or I am not happy with it not understanding what I'm gonna tell it, because it doesn't understand the context, or it doesn't understand really my thoughts or intentions, and ChatGPT seems to be do so. All right. Therefore, I will need to share a next screen. Yeah, I don't want to go into the details of the mission yet, because we have several steps, you know, to integrate the AI in the SAP environment. However, first of all, I would like to start with the real life examples to show you the AI developer for the SAP in action, so you know what to expect once you decide to implement the mission yourself. Again, the implementation, its support, and the demo that you get, demo access to the API that you get together with the mission implementation is completely for free. If you find an issue, we are here happy to help you or to assist you with the implementation. What you get is free access to the API for 30 days, so 1 month long access, and you will be able to do 1,000 development requests within these 30 days. Yeah. So let me show you the real life example. All right, can you see my screen, the SAP?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So this is very well-known transaction SC38 for all of the ABAP developers. And you know that if you are here, you already can start with creation of your reports, right? So we start in a customer namespace Z. We opted for the ZAI namespace basically. So let me create the first program which leverages the usage of the assistance of the AI. So let's start with a very simple calculator. Yeah, simple calculator by AI developer. Yeah. So this would be an executable program. I click save. Yeah. Until now, you know the process. Yeah. It's very known process to all of you that have ever created a report inside of the SAP. I choose the local object. That's fine because we are not going to transport it. And now you see, after you implement the mission or the use case, you will see this pop-up coming up. That's the first good sign that you have done something good. Yeah. So, would you like the AI developer to assist you? If you clicked no, then you would go the old-fashioned way and you would write your program yourself completely from scratch. Yeah. But if you click yes, you see another pop-up saying this is a legal information. The AI developer is not a person, but a software service, and as such, it cannot be held responsible for created source code. This is important, right? Do you take ownership and responsibility for the created source code? Yes. Okay, if you clicked no, then I'm sorry, no source code will be created for you. The thing is, the AI is here to help you, not to replace you. I don't even think, the ChatGPT itself, the latest models, or speaking about the ChatGPT 4, it's already proved to be smarter than average human. Yeah, it has a higher IQ than an average human, but still, it cannot replace developers. You will see why. It's a great tool to help you to shorten your development time, the lead time to get started with something, which is sometimes the hardest thing to start with something. But it cannot replace you. Yeah, and I don't think it would replace us anytime soon. So let's take the ownership and responsibility, as we are humans, and the responsibility is something very human. So this is a text box where you can basically write your development request. Yeah, and you don't use ABAP, but you use your natural language. It does not necessarily need to be English. However, the English is preferred language. That's the basically native language that the model has been trained on. So therefore, it's best to use it. However, it's not mandatory. So you can try your whatever local languages you want. So let's put here a very simple, short, and not very specific development request, like create simple calculator. Yeah, 3 words. Let's see what we can expect if we specify our development request like this. Yeah. Okay. The lucky source code successfully generated. We confirm. So it only took a few seconds and we got something that seems to be an ABAP, right? Let's try. It's even syntax error free, which in a some more, let's say, in more specific scenarios may not be the case. Yeah, it's not always syntax error free, because this integration of the AI does not read any of the data in your SAP system. So that means it doesn't read your function modules that are available or stuff like that. It only gets its wisdom from basically from the internet, right? The data, the big data, it has been fed with, yeah, and we have trained the model to create for us really a specific ABAP program. Then we are parsing it, and this is all handled by our API. But it doesn't mean that it's like error-free. Yeah, it may create an errors, but that's okay. Again, it's not here to replace you. It's here to help you. Yeah. But let's try to activate it if you have something working. Yeah. Okay, successfully activated. Let's put here some numbers, 6 and 9, for example. Yeah. So what it does all of the basic mathematical operations. It doesn't ask you what operation are you interested in. Yeah, that's something that I would expect it to do, but I haven't specified it. So basically, as such, it fulfilled my requirement. Yeah. So if I want to put here to the selection screen also the mathematical operation, it would be fair to say that. Yeah. So let's try to change our development requirement. I would just delete this program and create it anew. Yeah, another calculator by AI developer. Yeah. Oh, I need to choose a type. It's an executable program. I save it. Again, the same process. Would you like the AI developer to assist you? Yes, we take the responsibility. So create a calculator that gives me option to input mathematical operation. Yeah, something like this. And it does the operation with two numbers I can input as parameters too. Let's try this. Yeah. So it took another few seconds. We have a successful generated source code. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah. Now it's interested because it gave us also an option to give it a result. No, it basically creates a result as a parameter. That's not really best practice, is it? But still, it seems to be like something that could work. However, I can see some problems here already. Yeah. So if I click check the syntax, we see that the operation is too long. Yeah. So it didn't realize that the parameters may not be this long. Yeah. And I'm not very happy with using the P result as a result. This should be really variable. Yeah. So in some cases, you really need to correct the code a bit to get what you want. This would be something like data LV result, right? Rather than P result. Let's do it properly. Yeah. So let's see. It's syntax free now. Again, I'm an ABAP developer, which still has his dignity because AI was not replaced by the AI, but the AI is helping me. It's a tool. Yeah. So I have activated the code. It's just written much faster than if I've done it myself, you know, without any help. But this is a simple calculator, so come on. If you have more sophisticated prompt or development request, that saves you a bit more time, of course. So again, let's try to 7, and let's try to divide 7 by 0. Maybe let's see if it counts on this silly option. No, it doesn't. Okay. Sometimes it happens that it creates the code that already counts on the division by 0, and it just tells you that you can do that. But in this case, it doesn't. So again, this is the funny thing. Yeah, if you give it several times the very same development request, it may happen that you will get different results, but that's a good thing, right? So it's not as deterministic as usual programs, because this is a neural network that you use. Yeah. So it may happen that at first try you won't get the result that you wanted to. I mean, with regards to the functional code, maybe you try the second or the third time and you will get something really valuable. But usually you get the thing that helps you by the estimation is that at the very first try, let's say to create a minimum viable product, it could really save you about 80% of the time. Yeah. But on the long run, it can save you about 20% of your time. Yeah. So this looks like or sounds like a free Fridays, doesn't it? So let me show you maybe another examples. We have 2 more here. I believe that you are looking forward to try this yourself, and that's where the real fun starts. Yeah, because these are some examples that we have tried. Okay, seem to be quite all right, but again, it mimics the thinking of the human. So it's really very interesting to try this yourself, trying to get from it the best. Yeah, something that would really save you some time. Yeah. So another one. Yeah, we agree with everything. Now we say, this is not very. Now we say, let's create, or let's just declare a structure with fields of the table S-Flight. You know, the S-Flight table or the connected tables classes. There are in all of these systems. This is a training system which also contains these tables. So let's try this out. And you see, this is not really an executable program we are asking it for, but let's see what we will get. I want just to have the code snippet to have this this structure. Yeah, source code successfully generated. Yeah, and this is the type. And you know, the good thing about this is that we declare a type. That's already not 100% correct because the type is not declared. The variables that are declared, the type is defined, right? But it created the definition of the type for us without really having a problem with that. It also declared one variable, ls flight, which has this type. Yeah, so this is a code snippet for us. Yeah, it's really trying to force itself to create an executable code, but it doesn't make much sense to execute this one, right? Another one, a bit more complicated. Need to delete this first and create a new one. So executable program, local object. We want the assistance of the AI.
Que tenga fechas en cuenta.
Sorry?
Ya les dejé ahí, les envío. Pero
Maybe somebody has forgotten to do it himself. So this development request sounds like this. Create a simple ALV report to display flight data from the S-flight table. Define a data structure to hold flight data fields, such as flight number, carrier ID, connection number, departure date, etc. Populate this structure with data from the S-flight table and display it using object-oriented ALV classes like CLSLV, SALV table. Yeah, I would say maybe we can simply say to use it. Yeah, so and display it using class CLSALV table. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, about 6 seconds. So we have some code here. Now the question is, could you create this in 6 seconds? I'm not saying this is 100% perfect, but you know, 6 seconds. And maybe we need to spend some time with adjusting it, but still it would be much faster than, well, I'm an ABAP developer I've been an ABAP developer for past 15 years. And I can tell you that I can do this faster without the AI assistance, definitely not. So let's see. So the no components exist with departure date FL time. It doesn't seem to be really 100% correct, right? Because this is the date and this speaks about the time. So it seems to be not really 100% good. Maybe what we can do is that we can take all of the data to get rid of the type, because it didn't look to be correct. Now we select concrete fields. This is fine. Seems to be okay. No, it works with containers. Not sure if that's really 100% necessary, but this looks good. Let's see. So again, FL time does not exist at all. I'm not happy with this container. I'm pretty sure that it's not really necessary. Yeah, I'm not happy with this display. But we need to create okay, allow display set table for first display. This is a method of this SLV class. SLV table. And I'm pretty sure we can't create an object from it because I believe it has, yeah, controller. Factory, okay. So it has a factory method. Factory. Table. Yeah, I'm not really happy with this one. So let's create a factory. I'm not sure if this is necessary, but this is. Maybe like this. Does not have a return. Okay. So yeah, again, and this is this is the kind of trap we can get in. If you really sometimes the code is not as efficient as you would expect, and you get into stuff too much. So sometimes it's really better to let it generate it again, maybe specifying some stuff better. Like it's not worth to adjust this code, I would say. So I would, for the time being, I would save it, but I wouldn't go into this anymore because I'm afraid that I would spend more time with this right now. So it's more efficient when I create it anew. Maybe I can specify I want it to use the factory method, and maybe it does it better. So,
Mikhail, can I ask questions now, or should we wait till the end?
You can ask questions also now, of course. Please do.
So SAP's direction is to move out of classic programming, right? What we are now doing is all classic programming, right? So we're going to go with everything is modern extensibility. So, and usage of ADT will be highly recommended for everything, right?
Yes.
So does this AI work along with that? We are trying to decommission GUI and start using Eclipse for 100% for development, right? So in this case, we don't want to entertain people getting onto GUI. So, but what are the examples we are seeing is all based out of GUI. Will this AI integration, we use GitHub Copilot, which works very good with VS Code, and we're able to create it. So will this AI work along with the GitHub Copilot or ADT or any other tools, Eclipse?
That's a good question. Our API that is bound to GPT model 3.5 currently, and it will be connected to the newer releases very soon. Within this use case, it does not support stuff like CDS views or ADT programming per se, because it's integrated within the SAP GUI, of course. And SAP GUI development as such does not support CDS views and ADTs and stuff like that,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Uh-huh.
The API itself would be able to help you with that, but this use case or this mission and integration is more, I would say, intended or focused on let's say backend development, which is done inside of the SAP GUI. It supports S/4HANA as well as the older releases of the SAP. So what we've done with this use case is that we proved that even the older releases of the SAP can consume the latest AI technologies, and it's basically the capabilities of the technology that is available on the market. Yeah.
Okay.
So that will work. That will work as well on a C24. So I can ask him to generate a class with this and that method.
Yeah. But that would be a local class. But yes, the answer is yes.
Great, thanks. So,
Yeah.
So Mikhail, did you want to do some more questions? Because there's quite a number of questions in the chat, or are you done with your demo?
Well, I would be most happy if you, well, I want to engage all of you. So if you decide to implement this mission in your SAP system, whether it's a development system or a sandbox, and you try it yourself, that would be the best scenario for us. As I said before, we can help you with any of the steps. Let's get to the questions, but first of all, I would go quickly through the steps of the missions itself, because there are some that I would like to spend a few minutes with. Can I go like this,
Sure.
Soros?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So let me share the mission itself. Yeah. Can you see the mission?
Yes.
Very good. So we have, once you go here, Doris, would you share how the participants can get to the mission later?
Yes. Yes, I
Very good.
will. I will.
All right. So we have a project board here, yeah, which has several parts. Mainly the discover. This says what you can really expect from the implementation once you decide to implement this AI developer for the SAP. What you can expect, I have just shown you. Yeah, it takes you 5-6 seconds to get some ABAP coding that's prepared for you. But what you need to do, first of all, you need to, sorry, I need to log on. Takes me a few seconds. My session expired, so that's why. But we're close. Yeah. So lucky us. We have a project board here. This is the first one. I was not that much interested into it. Yeah, this one. The first of all, you need to go to this URL to register yourself. Please use your business email for the registration. And upon the registration, again, the whole mission and support and everything, the API access for 30 days is completely free of charge. So once you register here, you will get an API key, which is a string to your email, and you will use this API key later on in your implementation. Yeah. So this is a prerequisite that you need to do basically before you start with the implementation, because you won't be able to call the API without the API key. Maybe just a side note, I've said that it uses and it utilizes the usage of ChatGPT pre-trained transformer. You don't need any OpenAI or ChatGPT account at all. So if you have a whatever 10, 15, 20 developers in your company working on one system, you only register once and you have the API key and you don't need anything else. Yeah, by the way, this enablement of the AI developer could be also role-based. So you can specify a role or a parameter. If the developer has a role or a parameter that you define, he or she can use the AI developer. Otherwise, it cannot be used. Yeah. Okay. So then on the SAP side, what you need to do is that you need to enable your system to communicate through the SSL if it has not been done yet. Yeah. This is, either a smart or more experienced ABAP developer can do this, or a basis team. Anyways, this step may take up to an hour, I would say. So then you need to download the SSL certificate, the public key, and you basically import the certificate to your system. So the API would be trusted by your SAP system. Once this is done, the development as such begins. You need to create a simple function group. Within this function group, you create a function module with this name, z_AI developer, with one import parameter, which is the report name. Yeah. It's this simple. Now you have your function model created. And what you do is you go to this URL. Yeah. You go to this URL and you copy paste the content. So this is the body of your function module. You could copy paste it to your function module. But the one thing that you need to do on the top is that you need to replace this, this string, with your API key that you receive upon the registration, by the email. Once you have your API key, you paste it here, and it will be used. Yeah, so you will be authenticated every time you make a developer request through the API. All right. So now,
Michal, there's a number of questions, so we should allow for some time to answer a lot of these questions.
okay, I need 1 more minute.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the last development step that you need to take is that you open basically this standard code in SE38, but you're not changing the standard code at all, because you will make an implicit enhancement, and these are the steps. And within this enhancement, you do one single simple thing. And the thing is that you call your function module that you just created. Yeah, that's it. You activate your enhancement, and from now you will see those pop-up windows, and you will see also the box with the text where you can create your development request. So Taurus, let's start with the
Okay.
questions, please.
Okay, so from the Q&A portion of the, okay, so there's a question from Yayati. Does the AI developer assist service comes with S/4HANA on-prem license?
No, this is, well, the API as such is our product. We are SAP partners. Our company is called MTCD. If you want to learn more about the AI developer as such, please just head to artificial-mind.io. Yeah, and the API as such is called from the S/4HANA environment, but the license of the API is not anyway included in the license of the S/4HANA, nor this is a service of the SAP.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are just
Okay.
the partners.
Okay. And another question from Poshan. Can this create CDS views for external consumption with all the Delta capabilities?
Again, the API as such would be able to, but this use case does not support it.
Okay, one from Manish. Behind the scenes, which GPT model is used to generate code? Is it trained with SAP data like SAP BAPI, classes, and tables?
Good question. Currently it uses the GPT Turbo 3.5. If just Tomasz, correct me if I'm wrong. We are planning to upgrade it to use the latest version of ChatGPT available for the API calls soon. And that's, I would say, it's much smarter than the current one. With regards to what data it has been trained on, well, again, it's GPT, General Pre-trained Transformer. So it does not see your system, so it does not touch your data, touch your whatever development. It could, but we have not introduced this option yet. It could be done on request.
Okay. One from Avinash. When you corrected the code, such as shorten P_operation to be less than 8 characters, will ChatGPT learn and remember when I ask to code it next time?
This would be great, but this would only be the case if it was not the pre-trained transformer. So, you know, by nature of the GPT, it does not really learn. Okay.
Okay. So one from Fries, will SAP build code be used in ABAP development? I think it's being targeted as a cap at the moment.
That's not a question to me, I would say, Taurus.
Okay. Tomasz, do you have a... So Fries, well, I'll take this question with me and I'll talk to our build colleagues and get that answer to you. Okay.
Yeah, that would be a native integration, which would be very appreciated. I can imagine.
So let me go to the chat. There's quite a number in the chat. So one from Avinash, will this work on ERP on HANA?
Yes.
Okay. One from Stefan, I use Microsoft Copilot only because it is integrated. I often must leverage more powerful models like GPT-4, and since yesterday, Claude Opus to get tasks done in programming languages. I am not Savian. What model is, so the question is, what model is this AI assistant based on, and is it available with ADT? Does it have a context of the whole source?
So the question has been already answered, partially at least. So it's based on the GPT 3.5 currently. However, it will be upgraded. And with regards to understanding, it's not really a copilot, yeah, because it could be, again, it could be we can do this. It could be supported by the API, that's not a problem. But currently, this use case works very simply. You give it a developer request, and it gives the code. Of course, you can try it as many times as you want, but it doesn't take the context. But if you wanted it to take the context, you would have to take the code that was generated, put it to the prompt, to the developer request, the text field, and say what you want it to change. That's also possible. But yeah, I would be in favor of better integration, so it could work with the code that it already generated. It's not a problem to do this, right? But for the demo purposes of this use case, we have not developed this option.
Okay. One from David. Can it generate complex SQL queries with standard SAP tables like Mara?
I don't have a better answer for you, then please try it out.
Okay. Then one from Jan. Can it generate a wrap application based on a given table? I hope on AI tools. Okay, yeah, the question is, can it generate wrap applications based on given tables?
In current release, I don't think so. No.
Okay. And then one from Rosaria. Once the code has been generated, can we request to add more functionality to the AI and modify the report just created?
This is a similar question to the one before. Yeah, I would say yes, but you would have to take the code that has been generated and paste it to this text field. Yeah.
And then one from Sridhar. What is the difference between GitHub Copilot versus AI Developer for SAP?
That's a good question. You would have to compare yourself in order to see real differences. I don't think the GitHub Copilot, does it use the ChatGPT? I don't know.
Okay. I get another
yes, it uses.
It does. Okay.
Okay. Another one from Sridhar. Does it AI developer for SAP work with ADT?
Currently not, because at least this use case doesn't support it, because it's integrated in the SAP GUI. Yeah. So those who will benefit it the most are those who have requirements for backend development, creation of the standard reports with whatever forms, function modules. It can create classes. It's as has already been said. However, the ADT is outside of the SAP GUI development capabilities, so that's why it's not supported right now, even though the API would be able to support it. But that would be, a request for development.
Okay. And we only have another minute, but we have a lot of questions. So if you guys want to stick around for a couple of more minutes. So one from Max, could this perform a syntax check and send a potential error message to the model so it can automatically fix it?
This would need to be developed. This is a very simple use case.
Okay.
In the mission, but yes, why not?
So another one from Yayati, are we using chat or Q&A? Okay, we're using both, I guess. Sri, does AI developer create only custom programs based on prompts, or does it create even custom data objects like custom tables, view structures, fields?
That's a foreseen functionality. Yeah, but it's not included in this demo. That would be a commercial license. Yeah.
Okay. And then another one from Yayati, does the AI developer assist services? I think we've already answered this question. One from Sri, do we have SAP AI for configuration other than development of custom programs or objects?
Right now, it only within this mission, only the the C, let's say, programs are supported. The other stuff could easily be integrated using our API, but within this use case, this is not supported yet.
Okay. Another question from Srikant. What is the underlying AI platform? Does it use OpenAI or something else?
Again, the question has been answered already. It's Chat GPT Turbo 3.5, but it will be upgraded to a newer release.
Okay. And then one from Steve. Can you show again the button to generate the program through AI?
Show the button.
Yeah.
I don't know what's really meant by that, but the whole process goes like this. You go to SC38, which is the standard ABAP workbench transaction. You click create. So I need to delete the program first, or create the one with the new name. So far it's the same process as is known to you. You create whatever test. You say it's executable program. So far, nothing changed. But then you see the pop-up. So you need to click yes, I want the assistance. Yes, I accept all of the responsibility that comes with the creation of the program. Yeah. By the way, this is a moral question that comes with the existence of the AI. Who takes the responsibility, right? AI cannot be held responsible as a knife. Can a knife as a tool be held responsible for murder? No. It's a tool. It could be used for good or an evil. But if it's used for evil, then a human needs to be responsible for holding a knife, right? So this is the thing. We as humans need to be responsible for whatever the AI creates. In the end, we need to, but we need to have the right to say no. Otherwise, we cannot be held responsible, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a number of other questions. So one from Yati, can this implement bodies or put code in body implementations?
Yes, it can implement body. You can say, please implement this body, and I would suggest to be as specific as possible. But you can try even to give it a fake specification and see what happens.
Okay.
But
and then
yes,
I guess this other question is for Tomasz. So how often does SAP plan to upgrade this, like like GPT 4.0, etc., that are always roll out on their own at their own pace? Do you have any insights on that, Tomasz, from SAP side?
Yes, the upgrade for the ChatGPT 4 is not problem, but it's for the full license, not for the demo.
Okay.
But the question aimed to the SAP if it plans to upgrade something. But again, we are partners of the SAP, and this is a third-party software that we are showcasing here in a simple demo that is available to you free of charge for 30 days. Then you can purchase a commercial license, basically, if you are happy with the product, and whatever custom development can be done using our API for you. That's not an issue, but this is not a product of the SAP, so the SAP does not plan to do anything with this API. Okay.
Okay, we have about 3 or 4 more questions left. Can you please? Okay, I put the link to the Discovery Center in the chat. I also put the links to the webinars as well as the contact information to Mikhail and Tomasz in the chat as well if you want to reach out to them. Can we customize the AI developer assistant with customer-specific guidelines and naming conventions? This one's from Abdul. Okay.
Yes.
Another question from Stefan, seems key distinction. Okay, that's not a question. How many use cases have you or SAP Basis admins this with the certificate was helpful? Do you have some more? So I guess the question, I guess, is, are there more use cases coming?
Well, it depends on how successful will be the usage of this one.
So Isabella, I don't know if I told you question correctly, but if you want to clarify, you can unmute your line and ask your question. Okay. Another one from Mohammed. How can you show us where to register? Okay, artificial. So can you show us where to register on the artificialmind.io website?
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, if you
Okay.
go to the mission itself, yeah. Give me a sec. I need to. Let's share this one. Okay. You see my browser, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. Even better would be if I can see it as well. Okay, so if you go to the Discovery Center, so Toros, this is the right time to show how to get to the mission,
Okay.
how to find it basically. Maybe we can try, if you write here MTCD, which is the name of our company, it could give you the very mission we are talking about. It's this one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we go to discovery-center.cloud.sap. You search for MTCD. It sounds like an empty CD. It's MTCD. And you click here. And you have here the project board. And within the steps, you have the prepare part here. And here you will have to log on. But here you will see that you need to go to a certain URL, which is, by the way, the artificial-mind.io /registration, and you will be able to get your API key there via the email, basically.
Okay. Excellent. I think we've run out of all the questions. So it was a really interactive. Hopefully, most of your questions have been answered. Thank you, Michal and Tomas, for a great session. If you have any questions, I put their contact information in the chat, along with the links to some of the webinars we're offering. I will be sending a follow-up email to all of you, giving you the link to where you can find today's recording, as well as the presentation material that was shown today. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. Please do join us again next month for another episode of the SAP BTP Garage Series. And with that, have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're located. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Taurus. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.